Well, good afternoon. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. Really glad you could join me today out here in the vegetable garden. It's a nice day here today in Pennsylvania, Zone 6. We have a warm spell here, and so, you know, today's date is May 18th, and our frost date here in Pennsylvania, Zone 6, is May 15th. And so, you know, it's time now to plant those warm weather crops. And so, I recently visited Ray's greenhouse over there in Telford, PA, and I bought me a whole bunch of my warm weather crops. And so I did a video on which ones I purchased, and then I'm individually going through showing how you can plant each one, sharing some tips and ideas. Well, anyhow, today we're planting Plum crimson tomatoes, and these are great for canning. And so this is what they look like. So thanks for joining us today out here in the vegetable garden. So I'm going to be planting these tomatoes right behind me in my 18-foot by 30-foot raised garden bed. And you know, behind every plant label, they do give you a little bit of helpful information. It says here, Plum crimson produces high yields of deep red, juicy tomatoes and matures in 78 days. It's best in organic, rich, well-drained soil and water freely in dry weather. And this is also a determinate variety, which means they'll grow anywhere from 36 to 42 inches, and most of the fruit will come to maturity right about the same amount of time, which really makes it helpful for canning. In fact, this variety is more meaty, more fleshy. It's better for canning. And you know, my wife, we make our own tomato sauce every year. We can like 50 quarts of sauce, and you also want to make sure that these get a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. And so right behind me is where I'm going to be planting these. So follow me along. And I like growing these in my 6 mil black polyethylene plastic because it holds in the soil moisture, suppresses the weeds, and also warms the soil up early in the season. And I also amend this bed here with a couple inches of my composted leaf mulch that I get from Barnside Farms locally. I pay about $30 a yard and about $25 for delivery. And I also add my alfalfa pellets to the soil to offers a nice slow release fertilizer during the season. So I have a 6-pack here. It cost me $1.60. I had already planted 2 of these plants behind me, but you know, every time you buy a 6-pack of plants, or it's good to pull it out of the pot and make sure it's not root bound, you know, that it's strangled by roots. If it was, it means it was in the pack too long, and you know, it might stress out the plant if it's choked out by too many weeds. And so it's always good to inspect these little plants. And so I'm simply just going to use my hand since this soil's nice and loose. And again, you know, tomato plants are something you can plant deeper, you know, a couple inches deeper. You can remove the first couple branches and plant them a couple inches deep. That's a good healthy way to start your plants. And then I also have an irrigation system that I use my 1/2-inch conduit that I drill 1/16 inch holes in the conduit about 10 inches apart. And so it's a very efficient and effective way for me to plant these. But you know, this year I'm doing a lot of experimenting with different varieties of vegetables in the garden. It's always fun to experiment and see the results. But anyhow, you want to make sure these are well watered. Keep them well watered during the growing season. And so we're really looking forward to having our fresh tomatoes in the garden, you know, or fresh salads and beans, and you know, it's just wonderful having some fresh produce from your own garden. You know, it's nice organic knowing, it's nice knowing where your food is coming from. So anyhow, if you have any questions or comments about this video, feel free to leave them in the section below. And you can also visit us at plantsmartliving.com. And there you can learn more about gardening and also how you can reclaim your health by adopting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Well, anyhow, I hope you have a wonderful day today. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.